We are live. I'm just getting everything ready right now, guys. If you're watching this. Okay. All right, good morning. I'm just gonna tape this thing up here. You can hear me okay? Can I see the chat? Okay. I don't know if I can see the chat, but it's okay. All right. I do see the chat. Excellent. All right. So this is Mr. Saint Amant's channel, and I'm just happy to draw on a Saturday morning. What better thing to do on a cloudy day here in Southern California? And but more importantly than the live stream is just having this available later as a tutorial for you to follow down the line. So you can always just check this out anytime. I will post it once I'm done here. All right, so let's start with the focus of this video today is to focus on characters from the Chubicorn comic that I'm going to be going live with soon on Kickstarter once we get 100 pre-launch followers. So we're gonna just start off with drawing some characters. I'll draw Chubicorn right now, and just basic shapes for Chubicorn. And by the way, I'm using this super smooth pencil. It's gonna take some getting used to, but I usually draw like this sausage shape for Chubicorn with the 2 legs, and then I figure out what to do with the arms. So like maybe I'll do, I like to draw him with hyper realistic human hands. So for example, a big crazy looking thumb, wrinkly looking fingers, even like fingernails on them. I am a child of the 90s, and so Ren and Stimpy is like a huge inspiration. So whenever it's just ridiculous, I know. But whenever I'm drawing Chubicorn using a hand that's like an important hand expression or motion, then I'll draw like super realistically. It's just ridiculous. It's just funny. And then a little tubular arm when it's not being used. Maybe a little happy face there. And just little horn. So really keeping it simple is the key. And again, this pencil, man, this pencil is like butter. It's if you're wondering, it is a black wing pencil, but they've teamed up with Blick, the art store. And I got this, I was at a life drawing event recently at the local comic shop, Comic Book Hideout, and they just handed these out. And so I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But the weird thing is it came in a glass vial. Like it was in a pencil-sized vial with a little cork at the end, like it was some magical item. And somebody broke theirs at the event and just shattered into little bits. So I don't know why you would use a glass vial to hold a pencil. So yeah, random. But I also draw Chubicorn like this sometimes. Whenever I want to do, some funny expression, or like if I'm doing a birthday card or some greeting card or something, or even signing my name, I'll sometimes like just do a little Chubicorn next to it, just for fun. Yeah, so Chubicorn is very versatile, and typically I will say this: I don't draw in pencil. I usually draw something like this when I'm drawing. Which is basically a Prismacolor color race. And so with these, what's nice about these is that they don't smudge as much, and they are colorful, which means that they have a base color. Here's one this is actually a Sanford color race. I think it's the same company as Prismacolor, or the parent company. But what's nice is they come in a variety of colors. They are erasable, and I like to draw with them because it allows for, like if I'm drawing, let's say, Donasis, I can basically draw as loose and sketchy as I want. You may not even be able to see that because it's such a light pencil, but I will just draw and sketch and doodle and mess up to my heart's content. And then when I'm happy with it, so let's say I'm doing a little donut right here. So a little donut body, frosting for kind of the eyebrows, the expressiveness here. But I'm just lightly blocking this in because the next step is when I take my brush pen. And when I do that, so you can see this light blue little sketch. Then I take my brush pen. I always talk about this on my videos. This is Gas and Fude. It's made by Copic. So then I just go over it with my brush pen. And then just a little bit of drippy frosting here. And some little eyebrows. The eyebrows are the sprinkles. But you can see how much easier it is for me to have that, once I have that structure down with the blue or the light color erase pencil, then it gives me a much more confident line with the final art. So that's a little drawing secret there to make your work look more professional, more confident, not sketchy. You can then erase the color erase once the ink dries. I can also add marker color on top of it. Oh, I forgot to draw her other leg. There's her other leg. I can add marker. I think this is waterproof, this particular one. I'm not exactly sure. I gotta look into that. But typically I just do, my ink lines actually usually come after the color. And so that's it. So there's a nice little confident ink line drawing that has a base of color pencil. All right, so I want to focus on some wizards today. So I will start, I think I'll do a close-up of my favorite wizard, who is Beach Face Wizard. So when I'm drawing Beach Face Wizard, I will usually block in this oval shape for his head. So I'll draw this large or circular shape. And this basically encompasses the towel that is like his hood. He uses a beach towel for a hood. And then it's clasped with a little scallop shell. And then it goes back over his shoulders to form a cape. So it's a very good use of a beach towel, in my opinion. Highly recommended when you go to the beach, if you really want to look cool, is to have a beach towel, hood, and cape combo. All right, so we have that hood and cape going over the shoulders like this. And he has broad shoulders because he is a surfer. We're gonna draw his hair, which is actually a cresting wave. So he has this eternally cresting wave for a face. And then the wave curls and then has to kind of come back down this way. It kind of has to hit the shoulders with a different angle. So we do see the other side of the towel here. There's a bit of a gap up on the top. And then his most prominent feature is his nose, which is a surfboard. So we have a nice surfboard shape there. And then his eyes and mouth are actually just kind of like wobbly lines, dark blue, kind of implying that they are a fish or some shadow underwater. And then the pivotal, the most vital, important part of Beach Face Wizard is the surfer. And this surfer, he is actually the wizard. So plot twist. The surfer is the wizard. This little person right here, his name is Kalani. A little inside info about the name. Kalani, I named him after, my wife used to dance hula. She still does. She used to be a part of a halau when we started dating. And I would go to her practices. I'd go to all of her events. And I met a lot of cool people there, a whole family. And I mean, the hula, a halau is very much like a family, even if you're not directly related. It's like Hawaiian culture. And but there were two Kalanis that I got to know, very cool guys. And so I thought, that's a cool name. So I named my beach wizard the actual wizard. So this wizard, Kalani's power, includes control of ocean water and sand. And so the plot twist is that this entire wizard here is made of seawater, sand, and a little bit of surf wax for good measure. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm I guess, you know what? I've drawn this much of him. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. Now, Beach Wizard is 3.5 heads tall. So what I mean by that is I will measure all the way up to the hood to where the seashell is. So from the hood on the top to the seashell down below. I'm going to measure that and then block it in. So being 3.5 heads tall means that we're gonna do this 3.5 times. So there's 2. I'm gonna have to move this little thing here, just temporarily here. Let's get that going. Wait, there we go. All right, so I have 2, 3.5. So whatever the half point is, it's about, looks like it's about right here. So that is the extent of Beach Face Wizard's full body. So knowing that, now typically what you would do is find the halfway mark from the top of the head to where the feet touch the ground. You would find the halfway mark. And for most people, it's the bottom of the torso. Beach Wizard's a little different. His head is kind of the dominant feature of his whole body. So we would actually go, his halfway point's about his belly button. So let's just start to guess where the halfway is. So I'm gonna think maybe if I put my finger down here, maybe from here to here is halfway. Pretty close. So that would be his belly button right here. Make a little belly button mark. Now from here on out, I'm going to draw his triangular torso. So he's got that V build because of all the paddling out on the waves. Even though he's made out of sand and really he could just be in any form, but I want to give him like a beach fit. All right, now he's got his legs, so we'll have his hips here. He has some board shorts on. And then his legs look like they're gonna be pretty short. Let me see how this is gonna look here. I'm gonna block in his upper legs right there, like his thighs. And then, yeah, it looks like we're gonna run out of space. Maybe I made his torso too long, I don't know. It's fine, it's fine. We'll just go like a little further down. All right. So his legs are gonna be something like this. Okay, board shorts go down just above the knee. Gonna give a little bit of kind of a boxy shape to those coming out from the leg. Let's draw his arms. I'll draw his hands on his hips. Usually I have him holding a surfboard or surfing, but I don't want to draw over Donasis. So I'll just draw his hands right there. And then we've got upper arm. Now the general rule here for proportions of body. Imagine he has a rib cage, even though he's made of sand and surf wax. Imagine his rib cage comes to about here, the bottom of it, and that's typically where the elbow will line up. So that gives you an idea, a little landmark to where the end of your upper arm will go. Hands are on hips, so I'm going to connect the bottom part of the hand to the wrist, forearm up here, and then like that. All right, the other arm, we can just go straight across, somewhere around there. Behind Donasis a little bit, we have the other arm. Like that. And then, because he is fit, because he has some muscle structure, even though, again, he's made out of sand, I want to give him a little bit of a pectorals here. Right here. Going up to his arm, a little bit of obliques here, a little build or deltoids, I believe these are. I should know this. I've taught life drawing for quite some time. We have the abdominal muscles, sculpted, as they are made of sand. Bicep, shoulder muscles. All right, so keeping it simple, I used to design him with, if you've ever made sand castles and you drizzle the sand on the from like a wet bucket, usually you'll see that kind of weird like drizzly shape, and I kind of like that idea. It really keeps with the sand texture. I remember I was at a critique and people were saying they look like claws, and I was like, yeah, they kind of do. I don't know what else to do for for that. Yes, Dennis, thanks for joining us. I do art tutorials on my channel here. If that's what you're talking about, that's definitely what I keep doing. As far as these, I want to start doing these every Saturday. It'd be a nice little tradition to just wake up and draw what's you know, what's on my mind, I guess. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Hello, Scully. We've got his towel here. I forgot to draw his towel cape. Now, what's nice about a towel cape, you guys, if you ever want to really use your beach towel for good, if you have a towel cape over your shoulders, you can always just lay down, and you've got a permanent towel that just covers you. It's there. Like, you don't have to, you know. I'm sure it'll get sand on it, but it's a nice, convenient little, you know, thing you can just walk around with. Okay, so I mean, we could ink him. Let's not. Let's hold off on inking. I was about to ink, but that's just kind of redundant. I want to move on to the next wizard. And this is Chubicorn's favorite wizard, so I felt I would honor him with this next guy. This is Muscle Face Wizard. So Muscle Face Wizard has the power to control rocks and ground like earth. He's like an earth mover, like an earth bender. And he's made of a series of shrimp-like shapes. So we're gonna start with a really like puffy shrimp shape. And this will be his head and hood. So really, really light. Drawing this thing that kind of wraps around like that. That's the head, the face, and the hood. The hood is actually flexing. So the point of his hood is a continuously flexing arm. And then we have his torso. Torso is going to be a tiny little rectangle with a little bit of a curve to it. He has his chest puffed out. So we have this little torso here. And then we have his, he has also wearing some shorts. These are workout shorts. Muscle Face Wizard is sponsored by all of Shellrim's top athletics companies, by the way. He really has a good thing going. All right, then we'll draw his arms. Arms are these giant shrimp shapes that come out from, kind of overlap his head. And I'm gonna have one arm kind of flexing at his side here. So it's a big shrimp shape, big at where it attaches, and then it tapers down gradually, like that. And then his other arm will be going the other way. He's actually gonna be lifting a rock with his other arm. So he has his little, or big arm coming out, and then tapers to a little tiny hand, like this. And then we can draw, let's see, little calf. So he doesn't really spend a lot of time on leg day. Actually, let me swing that calf back a little bit more just to balance out the pose. So he's got his calf like this, and then one calf down. And then we'll draw big chubby shoes. Now these shoes are the top of the line shoes. These are the best. These are, oh, what are they called? Oh man, I should know this. I think they're called, I have them in the comic, on the back of the front cover of the comic book that Chubicorn buys. It's a little spoiler. But these shoes are advertised, so I'm just blanking on the name that I gave them. I think they were called, not Flights. Are they Flights? Hold on, let me do a little quick search here. They are, let's get it here. They are the V5s. V5s. I guess these are like, stands for the version 5s. Okay, so moving on to the face. We've got this big bulbous forehead. That's a big muscle. And then three smaller little half circles. And then it's enclosed in a hood. So he has this, it's a sleeveless hood just so he can show off his arms. And then he's got another big muscle in the forehead bulging out right here. Now you're probably wondering, why does he have muscles in his face? The answer is because he strains so much with his face when he's lifting rocks out of the earth. Like mentally, it's a mental exertion for this this character. He's got a little face, and he's smiling because he's doing what he loves. Little gap in the tooth there, and there's his face. Now, his hood, series of muscles. Like I said, it's a flexing arm. The shrimp shape is kind of giveaway of what his arm is doing, or what his hood is doing. And there's really no fist. It's just like a little ends and a little like the implication of a fist, right? And then it goes back, and big puffy muscles like that. All right, so there's his hood. His arms are, again, very similar to the hood. We've got these big puffy arms. And this, you can see that this wizard has no has no accurate connection with true muscle structure. This is just me having fun. I like, whenever I draw something that's super like muscular, I like to just make this ridiculous amount of bumps along an arm or a limb or something. It's just funny. It just makes me laugh, so that's important, you know. All right, so he's lifting. So again, he's using his mental capacity. This is, even though he has big muscles, a lot of it is from strain. By the way, you can see this wizard and all the other wizards in the Chubicorn comic, which is available for free to view on our website, saintamontstories.com. Saint Amont Stories. I'll write it down. Oh, Saint Amont Stories. Look, Saint Amont Stories joined us. How convenient. So is the Kickstarter all about Chubicorn? Yes, the Kickstarter is about Chubicorn. So let me just put the website right here. Saint Amont Stories.com, and just go to webcomics, and you'll be able to see the Chubicorn comic, and you'll be able to look at all these, learn about all these wizards, and watch Chubicorn's adventures. All right, let's draw these V5s. These are, I believe these are Phyke. I know it sounds like a really famous brand, but I assure you it's a totally unique, magical shoe brand that sponsors Muscle Face Wizard. So he's got the corporate sponsorship thing down. So always gets to wear the latest and greatest. So there is one shoe there. And the other one is going to be the same thing, just big puffy cuff, giant tongue, and then this like little oval that's going to be the laces. All right. And then they have these little drop shapes. Not a swoosh, definitely not a swoosh. Just a little, like a comet. Think of it like a comet. That's what it is. All right. So there is Muscle Face Wizard, and we're gonna draw him raising a rock. When I draw these rocks, I usually just draw these like angular shapes, and then I draw, stuff like this. Just kind of lines all around. It's not a great rock. That's not good. That's not good. I'll do better. Hold on. I lost my focus. Watch. I'll draw the inner contours a bit more accurately, and it'll be better. So we have this rock shape, and then maybe we have that big shape here, and then we just have a couple shapes that define the contours below it, and then I'll draw like a couple little chunks. It works best when you draw fast, when you draw these like angular lines and then little inner contours. And then I like to draw magical stars to show that he is performing some magic there. So that is Muscle Face Wizard. And if you were just joining us, this is Beach Face Wizard, my favorite. Now, speaking of Beach Face Wizard, I want to show you guys Beach Face Wizard's car. He has a very unique vehicle. it is an island. He drives around or rides around on an island, and it looks like this. You probably have seen it if you saw the comic on saintamontstories.com. If you've seen that, then you know what I'm talking about. But he has a little car, defies physics completely. And it's a small island. It has headlights. This is the only thing that is like car-like on this island. These two little discs, or these little spheres, or so you know, whatever, in this half spheres in the sand. And these are the headlights. So when it drives at night, this island is surrounded by water, so ocean water. This is the physics-defying part. It goes very deep. So it glides across the street on this little pad of water, but the water itself, if you step into it, it drops down quite a bit. And so you can actually swim around inside and under it. Just make sure you come up where the water touches this, you know, breaks the surface here. Otherwise, then you're in trouble. There's a constant wave here that is never ending, just like Beach Wizard's face. This allows for Beach Wizard, the golem, the sand golem that I talked about earlier, it allows him to like perpetually surf. So he has this little wave that is constantly occurring right off of the shore here. He can just take his surfboard, drop into it, and surf to his heart's content while the vehicle is in motion. There is a unique security system. It is a great white shark named Cousteau. If anybody in the comments can tell me where I got the name Cousteau from, you are a true oceanic OG. If you can tell me, or I should say, tell me the first name of Cousteau. The shark's full name is just Cousteau, but it's a shark that circles the island and just is the car's security system. And then there is the iconic single palm tree. It's a coconut palm, so it does provide coconuts. Usually it is tilted slightly back just because of, you know, just the wind resistance over time when the car is moving forward. So it causes it to kind of tilt. Now here's a little mini palm tree demo. So with palm trees, I draw a spike coming off the top, like this. And then I'll kind of think about how the spike of the palm tree is the latest bud, the latest branch or palm frond to grow. And so with that, this new one, that means that the oldest ones are the ones that fall down on the sides. Okay, so we have like this little palm frond coming off, and just the key is to be messy. Like palm trees are these messy things, and so sometimes I'll even just draw like a palm frond facing us, and no real attachment, but the implication is that it is attached. We just can't see where it's attached. So I'm having these messy textures coming off, maybe one up here, and the palm fronds are kind of all different directions. If you really want to get fancy, you can have it fold over itself, because some of these fronds will crease over time or with the wind, and they'll just kind of like have a little bend in them like that. So the key is just to be pretty messy with that. And then you could draw a couple of oval or football shapes to imply the coconuts. So there's our palm tree, this scraggly looking thing. It's been kind of whipped around. Here are the little, there we go. All right, now some dots for texture, sand. Kind of got a little too messy with those. Just here and there, not the whole island. Just to give some hint of texture. We also have a towel. There's always a towel for guests, because, you know, Beach Face Wizard always has a towel attached to his back. But for guests, he has several different people who he hangs out with. There's like 5 regulars that, in addition to Beach Wizard, that hang out on this island. There's a little boom box to provide some music. Often there will be a hibachi grill, just cooking up something. So we have a little disc, half sphere right there, and maybe something grilling, maybe some fresh caught fish that he caught right off the side of his island, right? And then you'll have maybe a beach ball, just kind of maybe hanging out, you know, like right here somewhere. And I'll just put it like right here. So that, to me, that's like the ideal vehicle. You can just hang out, party, chill, read a book, you know, hang out in the sun, listen to some music, surf. There's so much to do while the vehicle is in motion. And so that is Beach Face Wizard's car. That's his vehicle that he travels on. That's what makes him one of my favorite wizards, is because of the versatility of this this vehicle here. So this vehicle, actually, I have an entire, I'm gonna give you guys, if you're on here right now watching this, I'm gonna give you a sneak preview of this sticker sheet that I'm gonna have on my campaign. So I haven't shown anybody this. I just thought of this just now to share this. But it's going to be a 2-part sticker sheet where you're gonna have the background. Let me show you the background first. So the background is, oops, wait, hold on. Okay, so the background is the island, and it's parked on a street. You can see there's the only thing that's on the island right now is the towel. So that's the backdrop. So you'll get this sheet printed, and then let me show you what it comes with. I'm gonna overlay on top of it what the characters that you can stick. So it is going to be populated by all these characters that are going to be peel off stickers. There's Beach Face Wizard, and it's a block party. So you're going to basically be able to design a block party on that background sheet. So you can put a table, there's cups, we have a cooler, we have a barbecue, a bunch of hot dogs, a surfboard, another surfboard, and then people, all these little citizens, these are all characters that appear in the comic at various points, and they're all going to be enjoying the block party. So you know, notice some of them are submerged. There's some that you actually probably want to stick in the water, and so you know there's a couple of them that are underwater. There's Cousteau right there. There's a little boom box. So that'll be available as either a stretch goal or as a tier. So, you know, that's to come. So follow that Kickstarter campaign and you'll be able to have access to those fun things. All right, let's see. Let me draw a couple more characters for this island here. I won't draw them on the island, but I'll draw them nearby. There are 2 characters, Carl and Steve, that I designed as like, these are like they live on the island basically, just like Beach Face Wizard. So first we'll draw Carl. So it starts off with a curve into a point, and then we connect it with another curve. So it's the same shape, just flipped to create 2 points and 2 curves. And Carl is a sand crab. So we'll draw his eyes on stalks and little mouth, and then he's got a little shell that goes like this, and then arms. So here's one arm coming out here. That's the upper arm. The forearm is going to be at the hip, like that, and like that. Other arm, hands on hips. It's just kind of like a typical draw character just standing around. And then his little short legs. So Carl doesn't appear in this first issue, but he will make appearances later, I'm sure. But he lives in the sand. He burrows into the sand, and the sand also defies physics. It can go, you know, several feet. Oh yeah, Arawak, thank you. Yes, Cousteau. Yes, Jacques Cousteau, excellent, that's correct. You are right, Jacques Cousteau is an amazing oceanographic explorer. It actually, funny story with Jacques Cousteau, I used to watch his videos as a kid, and he inspired me to really take oceanography and marine bio seriously. And actually, when I was in college, I had to choose between being an artist, pursuing art, or getting into oceanography or marine biology. I just love ocean science, and there's so much that's unexplored, but Jacques Cousteau is like awesome. But yeah, thanks for that answer. Excellent. Nice one. And welcome from France. All right, so we have this next character. Oh, sorry, let me just label. This is Carl. I should say bienvenue to you, Arawak. I'm actually learning French right now. Got this little character. It is a sandpiper. So sandpipers, if you know about oceanography or actually marine bio, sandpipers eat, that's their primary food source is sand crabs. And so these sandpipers, or this particular sandpiper is friendly. He's small, he's tiny compared to Carl, so they're best friends. He won't eat him. But this is Steve. And so he has a little wizard hat. Steve is actually an apprentice of Beachface Wizard. And Steve has this ability to, let me draw a little close-up of him. Steve has the ability to control shells. So with his mind. So you could say he has shellokinesis. Instead of telekinesis, he has shellokinesis. So he is going to be smiling here with his little tiny skinny beak and using his, I can't remember if he uses his foot or his little wing. I'm going to just draw a little wing right here. And he is raising up a shell. Do like a little curvy shell here. I don't know if that's a good shell. Maybe I'll do another shell. Do an underside of a shell. He's raising some shells, and there's those little magical stars. And there you go. So that's Steve doing some shellokinesis, and his legs are longer than that. I'll actually go all the way down like this. So that's Steve and Carl. All right, let's see. I will draw one more character, and then I think we'll just call it. All right, so one more character. This character is, let me just scoot this paper up a little bit. This last one, he's just a funny guy. I'm going to have him sitting. I don't even have a name for him yet, but he is one of the bullies of the world. So I have, he's actually like a seed or a nut. Like, he looks like, right now he looks like an eggplant, but he's a super derp. That's his eye and that's his mouth, and then a leaf covers his eye, his other eye. So he has this little eye and mouth. And then little skinny hands, just kind of touching the ground. And then little tiny feet. And you know what? I don't have a name for this guy yet. Any suggestions I will consider in the comments. But yeah, this is him. I want to separate that eye and mouth a little bit more. They should not make contact. As much as in the rules of derp, as much as you want to get that mouth as close as you can to the eye, they should never touch. Violates the rule of derp. Okay, so he has his little like feet coming out there. You can see the bottoms of them, the little cylinder shapes. And he's just chilling. He's just hanging out. He's not really a bad guy. I mean, he just hangs out with bullies. He's just guilty by association, I think, really, more than anything. All right, you guys, that is pretty much it. So yeah, we did a lot of drawing today. Hopefully you were entertained or learned something. But again, all these characters are available for viewing free if you go to saintamontstories.com and you go to the webcomics tab, and then you click on Chubicorn. You will be able to see all these characters. We'll do about 2 pages a week, and that's all leading up to eventually our Kickstarter campaign. So again, link in the bio if you want to follow that. It hasn't launched yet. We're going to wait till we get a good amount of people following. And yeah, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on myself now and just say thanks for joining, and I will see you guys maybe next Saturday. So have a great weekend. Bye.